Well, we just go for as many big creatures as we can. Didn't realize I was playing a Golgari combo deck here. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing this graveyard self-mill deck that's kind of been floating around for a while. It's been kind of weird to try to isolate, find out what the exact list that people are playing is, but I think I found a pretty close representation of that. The primary goal is to be playing a beanstalk while also kind of milling ourselves, whether it's with vermin, just hard milling us when it first ETBs, out putting stuff in the graveyard or molt tender, and also these potentially getting put in the graveyard by either like combat damage or removal spells and so on and so forth, to kind of make these bigger creatures down here cost a lot less, while each one of these basically has the same clause. One's a little bit better in a weird way. This one casts one less for each creature card in your graveyard. This one also does, but also counts artifacts, which doesn't really apply here. But this one is the interesting one where it says one less for each creature card in your exile or in your graveyard. So this will kind of always be able to be played off of that type of effect. So that's very nice. And our main removal spell piece being Overwhelming Remorse, where it's one less for each creature card in the graveyard. And on top of all that, play a Souls of the Lost that gets bigger for every permanent in our graveyard, and it's a walking one-hit punch threat. It can win a game very, very quickly. So outside of that, play Overlord to get stuff back. We play Harvester to target things and remove. We get a awesome play in today's video with it. That's pretty nice. I know my hair's messed up. I showered and had my hood on. My camera and my hair sticking straight up. But yeah, so we get a sick play with this and a Remorse in one of our games today, which is very nice. Our opponent makes a little bit of a mistake and it actually costs them the game entirely, which is nice. So other than that, we're just gonna hop in. No webcam today. If you kind of saw my intros for the last couple of videos, you'll know why probably. With that said, let's go game. Oh, I can't really keep this one, huh, Chief? I guess we can keep this. We'll just keep stock, I suppose. Not like our beanstalks at point here. Hopeless Nightmare. There probably goes, right? And Scout. Spin that. Especially with the beanstalk coming down the pipeline, it feels like kind of in do the best I can to find bigger spells while I still have time to do that, right? So here's a Blooming Marsh, I suppose. Play this beanstalk and we'll draw an extra card. Card that our opponent's obviously going to have a little bit of trouble dealing with. Have this Overlord to play. Maybe we'll find like a big creature, maybe get back this Harvester if need be, but they play a Tithing Blade. Nothing else? That's awesome for us, clearly. Our mana is going to be a little bit awkward, but this can always make a green, this can always make a black. So let's start off with Overlord and kind of see where we get. Draw an extra card. It's a Vermin, which might be what we end up doing. I take this for sure. Then I think I just play this and try to establish a little bit more mana. That's kind of what our hand is. Then we can go for the souls and maybe discard this. Probably whatever card we end up drawing, right? Hermit can go here. Do there, sure. Let's mill a card. Oh, what a sick play for us here. Go Swarm, draw. Very nice. It's honestly even better. Play a Marauder here and draw. And we can go for Molt Tender if we wanted to, but obviously we're going to target our opponent with this. Honestly, okay. Wow, we just go for as many big creatures as we can. Didn't realize I was playing a Golgari combo deck here. That's on me. Alright, opponent, go. In one turn, I put 3 6/6s in play and a 4/2. So, yeah, I mean, if the deck's going to play like that, it's probably going to be pretty good, right? So, we move on. I had a blast. Oh, very cool. Our hand's solid enough, I think, so we'll keep. Play our Verge down, play the Bolt Tender here. I wish Bloom Tinder was legal in this format. It's legal on Modern, but Modern haven't been paying attention. May or may not be a little too, maybe a little too fast for our lovely format. Play the Overlord here. Gives me less options to grab. It allows my Molt Tender to potentially play second Molt Tender, for example. Exile a card, will make a green. Get rid of a land, because the land doesn't necessarily matter for our count. We're loaded up here. Now it's whether or not we're against control, omniscience, or whatever it may be. Omniscience combo. Okay, sweet. Temporary Lockdown is probably by far the most annoying card we potentially have to deal with here. Maybe I'm supposed to attack, but I was hoping to hit something. Let's do this. Sacrifice this. Maybe we could have sacrificed the Overlord, but no lockdown, please, sir. Could have a bounce spell too. Stock up. Okay. Sure. The board wipe coming if I've ever seen one. I've seen a lot of board wipes in my time. The discard to hand size. Missions? Stock up actually works so well there. It's actually crazy how well that ended up working for me. Especially if they put an omniscience in play. No. Okay. Interesting. Just cycle here. Oh boy, what to do, what to do. Pull a card here, I guess. This 7. I do feel like a board wipe's coming, or just like get our omniscience set up. I saw in a single turn late. Temporary lockdown. That's probably gonna do it. Well, there's always a chance. Hopefully this grabs from like anything, I guess. But we have 4 creatures in our entire graveyard. We have how many cards? Okay, so we're having the polar opposite game against the one matchup we can't do that against, I guess. Plays for 2. The reason why this is so cheap is because it's why is that so cheap? Oh, I guess there's more in there? Yeah, that makes sense. There's just more in there. I thought this was one of the ones that counted artifacts too, which I get, or exile, which I forgot this counts exile. Temporary lockdown technically has these exiled, so it is a viable option. Temporary lockdown me if you want. Who's this? I didn't even look what they hit. 5-4. Not all I got. Yeah. Game is just so over that it just kind of sucks to keep playing it out. Yeah, there's an omniscient. They bring it back. Next turn, I'm immediately conceding. I'm not even seeing if they have anything to do. Have gone through this many cards. Go away. Gone through this many cards in a stock ups here. Like, man, this deck is so annoying. A best of 1. I always find it hard to beat. Because I'm playing like kind of a slower setup turn deck. Or like I have this harvester where it's entirely a deck card in this one. There's a 5-4, I'll say go ahead. This will come up. We have 10 damage on board. I can't really get much more than that unless Creeping Chill magically appears in my format. My opponent gets 2 whole turns to figure this out. I guess I get to respond with this on the respond with that on the they bring it back, but halfway through their deck they're bound to have one, right? Oh, okay. The back is a 3/3, so this isn't quite big enough. This. Know what card they might discard, so we do this. Although, I think it's less I pay 4, right? I have to pay 4, so I don't even have the mana to like wait and hold this up, right? We'll leave up our mana, however, for Harvester Cycle and Remorse play. Go ahead. The only way this works is if our opponent makes a mistake. What do we got? So it can be a 3/3, right? 3, 4, 1, 2. It comes as a 1+2 1/1s. Oh. I can't believe they tried to bring this back as a 1/1. Yeah. Huh? This is an ability, so it's not counterable. Kind of why we went with it, and whenever they put their founding riddle on the stack to try to find an answer, probably gonna overwhelming remorse it. I'll have a second one, dude. Don't have a second one. There's one in the back. I mean, they definitely are. I guess it would be copy number 3. Our opponent gave us an out, and we got it. We got the out. Insane that we got that out. That's... If they just put this 2 extra mana that they did not need floating when you have an Omniscience in play, that thing would have been a 3/3 creature, and our Harvester would not have been big enough to remove it. But instead, our Harvester is big enough to remove it. And we should have the game. I don't know what for 2 mana, because they played a Surveil land this turn, right? That they can do, and holy... This is assuming it was automatic once it resolved. We kind of get our opponent in a really tight spot. And they thought their counterspell alone was just going to be enough. But, again... I don't know why we wouldn't fully tap out, but sure, sounds good to me. Yeah, I mean, I think we can keep this, right? Get to potentially start off with a pretty large creature overall. That in the bin. Our whole hand just got 1 cheaper. Job team. Honestly, I do think I'm going with this and a gnawing vermin. Gnawing? There's no L in there. I don't know why I'm sizing a random L, but... Our hand got significantly cheaper, which is awesome. Whenever this little guy blocks, our hand will get cheaper. Auras do nothing. This could be control, so that is a little bit of a problem here, but we'll attack. Sacrificing a vermin makes sense to me. Because I get to put that creature in that graveyard. Temporary lockdown doesn't get to take it. So whenever it comes to these guys, we are pretty well off. I already get to start off with a Marauder almost. Angel. Just angels? Oh my, our opponent is so much cooler than we are. Here? Here? Most likely this will hit, or even if it doesn't, it's going to hit quite a large card in their hand. There's quite a bit of 4 and 5 drop angels that can cause a lot of problems, but Authority of the Councils. But assume that's our draw, and a Youthful Valkyrie, a card I kind of forgot existed, to be quite honest with you. There's a 10. Okay. Gonna enter tapped, but I think it's definitely worth playing. I could have went for this one, but causes some issues for the fact that it's flying. There. What? 6 mana, flying vigilance haste whenever it attacks. First time each turn, untap all creatures after that phase is an additional one. Shelter by Ghost, pretty good card. They could have a second one. Problem is, like, so far stuff just trades well. The Helix up to 9. Hit. This goes down. There's a Beanie Boy ready to go. The land will play. We'll draw. This isn't enough, obviously, for lethal anyway, so it's perfectly fine to just keep doing this. We just keep on trucking here. They gain a little bit more life. Turn in, turn out, but we give ourselves a chance. They're down to 3 cards. Now these sleeves exist. One of my more favorite characters in the lore, because I like Throne of Eldraine so much. Even though Throne of Eldraine provided a lot of cards that maybe needed a little bit touched up. Sure. 3/4 in the air, 3/3 in the air, and I mean nothing but attacks coming in. This has menace, so 6 is guaranteed to make contact. You have to double block here. No other way around it. Get our thing back. Quite honestly, I don't think it's really worth even committing anything else. I think we just wait. Okay, this is a board wipe. I get to double spell here. Yeah, and unfortunately for them, really cool deck. Really, really cool idea, cool deck. But we get to come away with the win. That's definitely got to go in the bin. We got to get this card lowered by any necessary. Real problem going to be that they might put... Ooh, Manifold Mouse, give it first strike and stuff. That's kind of sucks for us. But the big problem of they're on the play, so it's 1 turn behind. I feel a lot better about our chances. Thankfully, a Harvester somehow comes in off the top rope and saves us here by allowing us not to take any damage at all there. But Manifold Mouse can definitely pack a punch, especially if they go in for more creatures here. Played on land, so the one with haste and stuff could definitely cause little problems, but if they hit another land, then it's kind of like whatever. Doesn't really matter near as much. Yeah, there's the Amberheart Challenger, the one we were kind of thinking about. But they're tapped out. They fully tapped out before targeting it. But Lightning Strike, fortunately for us, is just like whatever. Yeah, and just not hitting a land here. I think objectively that's just going to do us in. Don't know how I realistically beat this. Let's say I have nothing for this and it's just 2 damage a turn. This is 4 damage, and realistically they're going to have something for it. Yeah, I just can't. Missing a land drop, being on the draw with that kind of crazy of a hand, I'll just move on. All right, well, I mean, if they're the match to... If there's a hand to keep, this is it. Go here into Vermin, mill ourselves, and then we go into potentially souls. That kind of depends what we want to do. Especially if they put like a 1 and a creature in play, then we'd go for souls. But that's gone. We want to surveil after, because if we want the card on the top, we don't want to kind of change our plan around it. All right. The beanstalks. I like you a lot. Can you, like, I don't know, stop being milled over? I did 2 blind mills and I hit beanstalk twice against blue-black bounce. Doesn't necessarily feel the best. Sure. Sure. Another gnawing vermin. Name a better duo. Alright. Combat attack. Sure. 2 vermins. Hey. Arena, we did it. Sacrifice this permanent. We'll give that -1/-1, whatever. Now we have a 9/10. They can play Bobble, and then they can play a Tithing Blade, which will obviously be awful for us. But as long as our 9/10 can stay, I guess they can always go for the throated as well. Form Coil Engine Sleeves. Those are pretty cool. Also Kaido and stun it, I guess. That'd be pretty bad. Didn't go for it. Oh, their mana kind of stinks. Alright, so they have a this town. I think that's fairly obvious. Combat. Come on. Half your life total. Oh no, we didn't see that coming. Duel here. Fortunately, the Marauder also gets picked up by a Grim Bobble. And there was the Kaido, so we were right. You got for me now, boss? Yep. I should just went for this, I guess. I have another this town. That's so cringe. Yeah, dude. Yes, sir. We're already almost through 20 cards for a deck. Huh? You have another this town ain't big enough. I almost don't want to believe it. Like, no way, right? Actually, go with discard a card. They haven't hit like a Hopeless Nightmare or anything yet, so I feel like it's coming. Okay. Oh no, not a third one in a row, man. This format's so fun. You don't know, this one got discarded. So they've literally played 3 this towns in a row. Thankfully, shouldn't have to worry about it anymore. But also, that sucks. They play the 4th one. You'll never hear the end of it from me. Kind of do a cool thing here, where we don't necessarily have to discard the card from our hand. Doesn't really matter that much right now, but then we can play this one untapped. Okay, they're surveilling off that. I feel significantly better that this Souls to the Lost did not get put back in my hand for the 4th time in a row. Well, bottom, sure. Obviously, any effect like Momentum Breaker will be nice white mana. They're not blue black. Wow. Turns out hopeless, or not hopeless. This town ain't big enough, and nothing else to do. It's just not good enough. I don't know. Oh boy, that's a tough one to end on, but that's what I got to do. So yeah, very cool, nice.